This is Happy Healing. Happy Healing is my brand and coaching practice. Happy Healing is also a safe space that we have created here on TikTok and on YouTube to have these meaningful conversations at 9 a.m. Eastern on weekdays. I welcome each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. As many of you know, I run in the morning before I do these lives. So oftentimes when we start, my heart rate is still very much elevated and I am still warm and rolling. So if we start and you all see the sweat towel, that's because I'm still burning up from running. This isn't the second session. We're just getting started. Those of you that are familiar with the content know that Coach Kohn is going to get excited at some point, and there is going to be some sweating going on. But to see us start to scream with sweating, that was a little different, but that is why. But welcome each and every one of you to the conversation. Also, before we get started, I just want to share some information with you. We did not hit our goal last month for signups for the mentorship program, as well as signups for the Trauma to Triumph 90-day one-on-one coaching program. I share that information with you all for two reasons. That means for those of you who may have felt as though you missed your opportunity to be a part of the Happy Healer mentorship group, which is 5 people in a Zoom meeting, intimate environment where your ideas, your thoughts, and the things that you want to learn are included in the monthly curriculum, or our signature Trauma to Triumph one-on-one 90-day coaching program. If you thought you missed those opportunities are still available. We do have spaces available in both programs. The only difference is you missed the special pricing. But you can still sign up if you're interested in those programs. That's the first reason why I'm sharing that with you all, is to let you know that there's still opportunity to sign up for either one of those programs. The second reason that I share that with you all is to give you all a little testimony. As I have converted to doing this full time, obviously goals are important. Goals are important because that is how you set the direction of your business, and that is how you measure if the things that you are doing are actually getting you to your goals. So missing my goal of signups for the mentorship program or for the 90-day one-on-one Trauma to Triumph program meant that I had to do some evaluations. And in my evaluation, I am very much a student of people. I also have a background in media, in marketing, in film, and in music. So essentially, based on that experience in my background, there are ways by which I can increase the engagement of this content by simply putting more of an advertising, marketing perspective to it. So as I recognize that I didn't hit my goals last month for sign up and engagement for those that were participating in our program, there's always that little inkling that says, hey, we could do this or we can do that. And here's why this testimony is important. You see, as we're all on this journey, we all have things in our life that we are desiring to accomplish. And as you are trying to accomplish those things, there are going to be points in your life where you may not see yourself where you desire to be or where your goals are. And in that assessment, there may be a temptation to compromise your authenticity, to compromise the value of what you are or what you have to offer. And in that temptation is really a test. Because the test is, do you truly believe in the value of what you are offering? And have you always truly believed in the value of what you're offering? Or are you simply offering what you're offering in exchange for your gain? Whereas if your gain does not meet its goal, then you're willing to compromise the authenticity of what you're offering. And I'm excited to report to you all that now we're going to keep it authentic. And the reason I'm going to keep what I do authentic and stay true to the method by which we're doing it, which is don't make it a gimmick. Don't use advertising tactics, but give it away to people. Give them the value of what you offer. Give them the value of what you sell. Give it to them every weekday at 9 a.m. Give them the value of what your coaching program can offer them. Give it to them. Why? You have to understand that things and those that are for you are for you. When your life has a purpose and you are on a mission, when your life has a purpose and you are on a mission, the mission is not guided by what you gain. Listen to me carefully. When your life has a purpose and you are on a mission, the mission and the purpose is not guided by what you gain, but the mission and the purpose is guided by those that you serve and what they're receiving. Here's the true statement. We oftentimes, those of us that operate in a creative space, we are often told, and if you have this spiritual foundation, your gift will make room for you. When you miss your goals, it's easy to think that the gift is not making the room. But as I constantly teach on this app, you cannot judge the outcome through these natural eyes, because your natural eyes and your natural mind has a limited library to reference what you're looking at. Your natural eyes and your natural mind has a limited library to reference to judge a situation of whether this is good for you or bad for you. The only thing that you have to reference is your past experiences and your memories. And the problem with that is your past experiences and your memory is limited to the PPP. Who remembers what the PPP is? The possible, positive, there was another one. Who remembers what it is? I took notes. I love Ethel aesthetics. I've probably said this to you before, but I'm going to say it publicly. I love you. I love you for paying attention. I love you for being attentive. It is the possible, positive. Is it that positive, possible possibility? No, it is the. I'll pull my notes. But I think we're there. We get the point, right? Let's get into our lesson for today. Today's lesson is trauma and its hidden hand. Trauma and its hidden hand. And I want to start today's lessons with this key point. You are being led by the parts of you that you repressed. The topic for today is trauma and its hidden hand. And we're coming out of the gate with, you are being led by the parts of you that you repressed. Your life is being governed by the parts of you that you are unaware of. You don't see your own blind spots. So before we proceed, I'm gonna add some context to that statement. I'll read it again before the context, but the context that I'm adding to that statement is I'm going to give you an understanding of how trauma works. For you to understand the hidden hand of trauma, you have to understand the dynamics of how trauma works. So let me read the statement again, and then we'll unpack the statement. You are being led by the parts of you that you repressed. Your life is being governed by the parts of you that you are unaware of. You don't see your own blind spots. So the way the trauma works, and I explain this a lot, and I think this is one of the easiest way that I've been able to break this down to people, just from a perspective of your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. There are other analogies that I use, but let's start here. So essentially, we used a computer analogy to explain the effects of trauma on the human mind and eventually on the human body and on your life. So we often, in this analogy, we reference Kawana, happy healing to you, and I believe that is Mimi, happy healing to you. So in this analogy, we reference your ego or your mind's consciousness or your mind's awareness of itself. We reference this part of you as your desktop. And the reason we call it your desktop is because your ego or your mind's consciousness is the part of you that deals with your everyday life, similar to the desktop on your computer. This is where you keep the files that you need in order for you to function on a day-to-day basis. This is where you keep the memories that you need to function on a day-to-day basis. This is where you keep the ideas of your self-identity and how you identify and relate to the world. This is where you keep your self-image. This is your conscious mind. This is your desktop. You are, when we say conscious, the idea that if somebody hits you upside your head and you are not aware of yourself, you're not aware of your own identity, you're not aware of your present state, we call that being unconscious. So this is your conscious. This is the part of you that is always awake and aware when you are not sleeping. The other part that is impacted and affects trauma is your subconscious mind. For the sake of this analogy, we refer to your subconscious mind as your hard drive, the computer analogy. Your hard drive is where your operating system is. So when you're working on your computer, the things that you're seeing on your desktop, those things are being projected from your hard drive, from the operating system. So in essence, your subconscious mind is your hard drive because your subconscious mind holds your operating system, meaning your behavior patterns, your thought patterns, your belief systems, the way that you perceive the world. All of these things are held on your hard drive, or i.e. your subconscious mind. Now, here's the thing. Your conscious mind, your ego's identity, has an image of itself. That image that your ego has, listen to this carefully. The image that you bear of this self-identity is an external identity that you adopt. You'll see why this is true in a minute. Your ego is not an internal reflection of what you believe about yourself. Your ego is an external projection of how you believe you need to be represented in the world in order to survive. Your ego has one job: protect the passenger. Your subconscious mind has another identity. This is important for you to understand, for us to lay this foundation, for us to build and show you the hidden hand of trauma. Your subconscious mind has another identity. Remember, we said this is your hard drive. This is where your operating system is stored. Your subconscious mind's identity is based on not the present external world's projection towards you, but your subconscious mind's identity is based on your previous experiences and exposure. Now, let's talk a little bit deeper as to how trauma impacts those two perspectives that I just explained to you. So in a sense of how trauma is stored, say you're 10 years old and you go through this traumatic experience. It could be physical, it could be mental, it could be emotional, whatever it is. You go through this traumatic experience. And at the age of 10, your ego's awareness of itself does not have enough capacity to understand or process what has happened to you at the age of 10. This can happen as an adult too, but we'll start here for now. So when your ego's identity or your mind's consciousness or your awareness of self, when it does not have the capacity to process or deal with this thing that has happened to you, your consciousness or your desktop says, I cannot process this and do my daily job of protecting the passenger. I cannot process this and handle my day-to-day tasks for the same reason that your computer has a desktop and a hard drive. If you put everything that's happening on your hard drive on your desktop, you wouldn't be able to find the file that you need to find to do the thing that you need to do today, right? So your conscious mind says, I can't process this. I can't handle it. If I keep this up here, I will not be able to function and do the daily things that I need to do. Therefore, I am going to store this experience on the hard drive. Thinking back again to the computer analogy, when you have a file on your desktop, and let's say somebody sends you an email and you download the email and it is this long email that has all of these important things that you need to do. And you're like, I won't be able to get to this for quite some time. So I'm going to put it in a file and store it on the C drive. The C drive is normally your hard drive on your computer. That's that old head nerd talk. That's that old Macintosh computer talk. That's that old Windows boom, boom. That's that old talk when you know like what the C drive is on your computer. But anyway, that's how your conscious mind experiences trauma from the outside and then stores that trauma in your subconscious mind because your conscious mind does not have the capacity to process it. That's how trauma is stored in your subconscious mind. That's how trauma is stored on your hard drive. Now, let me add some more context to that. Something that I don't normally say, sidebar. Share the live with someone that can benefit from this conversation the way that you are benefiting from it. That's the most that I'm going to ask you all to do. I'm not going to ask you all to gift here. If you choose to do so, that's on you. I'd much rather you engage with me in one of my coaching programs. I'd much rather you engage with me in some type of an exchange. But share this live with someone who can benefit from it and also like the live. I had to get over this thing of not telling you all to do that. I had to get over this idea that, you know, just the people that are supposed to be here are going to be here. And that is absolutely true. But the other reality is, too, this thing that we're on, this device that we're using, it works a specific way. In order for us to get this information to people who absolutely need it, there's certain things that we need to do. So I had to get over that thing within myself that says, no, I don't need all of that. I just got the people that are supposed to be here. Coach, is this about you or is it about the people that are going to receive what you have? It's about the people. All right, then get yourself out the way and encourage the community to share this with other people so they can benefit. So share the live and like the live so that someone else can benefit from this information that you are benefiting from. All right, now here's the other context that I need to add to when trauma is stored on your hard drive. This is critical to understanding how we help you to heal from said trauma. Now, when that trauma is being stored from your mind's consciousness because you can't deal with it and process it onto your hard drive, the way that it is stored is in pictures. A film is just pictures sped up, right? So the way that trauma is stored is in your memories. is in visualizations, in miniature movies. Along with that miniature movie, what is also stored on your subconscious mind are all the emotions that you felt when this traumatic event took place. Along with the emotions that you felt is all the energy. You are an electromagnetic being. Your emotions generate energy within this physical vessel. So along with the visualization, the actual memory of it, there's the emotions that is also stored with that trauma. Then there, along with the emotions, is the energy that is along with that trauma. And then lastly, and most importantly, this is the part that most people don't know, which is why you struggle with healing from your trauma, because whoever is assisting you don't have this wisdom or knowledge or understanding. The most important part that is stored along with that trauma is you at that age. This example was based on a 10-year-old you having had a traumatic experiences, lacking the capacity within that 10-year-old's awareness of self to process this traumatic event. So naturally, without this 10-year-old deciding to do so, this is the beauty of how your mind has been crafted. Without your little 10-year-old brain telling you to do so, your brain automatically goes, I can't process this, so I'm going to store it. Now, when that trauma is stored, it is the 10-year-old version of you that is holding that memory. So every time you revisit that memory, it's not 43-year-old Kohn that's going back and experiencing the emotions. No. 43-year-old Kohn is having a visualization of 10-year-old Kohn experiencing this trauma all over again. Do you understand, and can some of you see that in your own experience? Put a 1 in the comment if you understand and if this makes sense. And put a 5 in the comments if you have this in your own experience, where you know that when you relive a trauma or when you think back to your trauma, it is not the adult version of you that is experiencing that trauma again. It is the adult version of you, literally, in a sense, hypnotized, gone, having a visual experience of that trauma all over again. But by holding that visual experience, it is the 10-year-old that was stored with that trauma that is reliving it. That is critical for you to understand if you're ever going to heal from your trauma. And let me show you why that's so critical. Because right now, there are people that think that it is their adult self that's reliving the trauma. So you know what they try to do? They try to do things for their adult self to try to fix the trauma that the 10-year-old keeps reliving. Y'all not following me, so I'm going to keep driving. What we have right now and how we know that it is the younger version of you that is experiencing the trauma over and over again, because right now people that lack that understanding but know that they're reliving some type of trauma in their life, they try to appease or heal or do things to this older version, thinking that by doing all of these things to this version of me right now, I am going to heal the 10-year-old version of me. That's not how it works. And that's why our coaching method at Happy Healing is so effective. Because I'm not going to tell you to do a bunch of stuff to this 43-year-old version of you in expectation that that is somehow going to heal the 10-year-old that is still living and captured inside that memory. You know, you guys know I'm an artist. I paint and I draw, so my analogies come by way of my artistic expression. I just had this beautiful analogy about that. Your trauma is like the princess in the castle. So I want you to imagine 10-year-old you has been locked away in the tower of your trauma and is awaiting adult you to come and rescue that little 10-year-old version of you. When you experience that trauma at the age of 10, your conscious mind says, I can't deal with this. I can't process this. I'm going to lock this away in a tower somewhere so that this doesn't control and impact my life, not realizing that it's going to anyway, and we're going to get into that. But you lock that trauma away along with that 10-year-old version of you. It's locked away in a tower of your trauma, awaiting this version of you, this older version of you, this more experienced version of you, this version of you that is able to handle the trauma that 10-year-old could not handle. The 10-year-old is waiting for you to come and rescue him or her. My clients will tell you this understanding in practice, in coaching, is one of the most beautiful experiences you will ever have, because it is truly the nature of healing. You can't fix this version of you to heal your 10-year-old self. You got to go back. You can't buy yourself the biggest house in the world to heal the 10-year-old that didn't have anything. You can't buy yourself the fanciest car in the world to heal that 10-year-old that had to live with poverty and doubt. You have to go back and help that 10-year-old to heal from where that 10-year-old is. And that is why so many of us find ourselves, we are in a better place, but we just can't figure out how to undo the work of our trauma in our lives, because we don't have the understanding that you can't fix you to fix younger you. You got to fix younger you to fix older you. Sometimes one of the toughest thing about this job is knowing that the people that have this experience also have the luxury of the clients that are here will tell you how powerful this is. That statement, if you missed that statement, you literally, let me say that statement again, because that is literally the crux of not only our coaching program, but that is the crux of healing. This version of you, you can't, listen to it. You cannot fix this version of you to heal your inner child. You have to heal your inner child to fix this version of you. For those of you that are just joining us, my name is Kohn. I'm a health and life coach specializing in the niche of trauma, specifically childhood trauma, religious trauma, and the effects of religious dogma on the lives of individuals. I've been doing this work for over 20 years now, and I started out my work as a coach, a healer, or what you may call it, as a youth pastor in my early 20s. Not too long out of high school, I became a youth pastor, started reading the Bible, and became very proficient in reading, explaining, and teaching the Bible. But I had a fascination with human suffering because of my own suffering in my upbringing. And I was always fascinated with human suffering because I always wanted to know, why did we suffer? It was on that journey of understanding human suffering that I was able to dissect and then deconstruct my own suffering. And through that deconstructing of my own suffering came this passion to help other people to stop the suffering. So my work as a life coach is not based on, I didn't come into this work. I've been in corporate America for the last 9 years, pursuing a very lucrative career in corporate America. But even while I was in that world, what I did most effectively and what made me an effective leader in that world was my ability to coach, train, develop people to be their best version of themselves, not just at that job, but I would speak to the core of a person. So in essence, what I'm saying to you is coaching has been my life for over 20 years. And these this wisdom that I bring to you about coaching, this in-depth understanding of how to heal from trauma, is not just something that I've learned through gaining my coaching certification. It's not just something that I've learned through reading books, but it's something that I've learned not only through application within my own life, but it's something that I've learned over 20 years of watching individuals like myself on a similar journey apply these different methods and modalities to this journey of healing. So this is what I bring to the field of coaching, is this unique, holistic approach that not only incorporates what your daily activities are, what the things that you've experienced, but it also incorporates this spiritual understanding of what you truly are at your core. And that is what makes us different. That is what allows us to help people to change their lives. And if you're interested in any type of engagement with us, simply send us an email to Kohn@happyhealing.com. Let us know if you're interested in one of our coaching programs. Let us know if you're interested in just being a part of this community, or let me know if you're interested in joining our team here at Happy Healing as we are expanding and growing as opportunities are presenting themselves. Thank you, Kira. Again, that is right there on the screen, Kohn@happyhealing.com. Send us an email and get on board while you still can. As I said earlier, we still do have open opportunities in both of our coaching programs, whether that is the Happy Healer mentorship group, 5 people in a Zoom setting where your thoughts, your ideas, and your questions are incorporated into the curriculum for the month, or our signature Trauma to Triumph one-on-one 90-day coaching program. I still do have available spots in both of those programs. We did end our pricing special. However, you can still enroll and start the journey to taking control of your life. All right, that being said, let's get back to work. I actually have a good amount of information that I have not covered, so I'm going to speed up here a little bit just so we can move along, or better yet, we'll continue to take our time, and then if we follow up this conversation tomorrow, that's just what we'll do. Okay, so we started off with you were being led by the parts of you that you've repressed, and what I was explaining to you all was how trauma ends up in our lives and ends up flowing along our life, how trauma ends up stored in our subconscious mind. And then the last part that I was adding to you was that the way that trauma actually stores is through visuals. The memory is a visualization. It's like a live movie or a clip of the movie of your life. And in that clip is not just the actual movie clip, but in that clip is all of the emotions that you experienced at the time of the traumatic event. In that clip is all of the energy that was generated from that emotions that came along with that traumatic event. But also in that clip, captured in that clip, is the version of you, however old you were at the time. And lastly, given an analogy to help you understand that, your trauma is as if though when you experienced that trauma again at the age of 10, that 10-year-old version of you was stored up in a tower somewhere waiting for this adult version of you to come and rescue that younger version of you. And lastly, on this point, you don't heal this version of you to heal your inner child. You heal your inner child to heal this version of you. And that's why rather than going out and doing all the things that make this version of you feel good, invest in healing that inner child. Because you can buy all the nice things you want. You can go on all the nice vacations you want. You can spend all your money on all the things that try to cover up the residual impacts of the trauma that you have not addressed. And no matter how much you try to cover it up, your hard drive controls too much of your operating system for you to escape that which you have stored on your hard drive, whether it be the parts of you that you have repressed or the parts of you that are stored up in the tower of your trauma. Now, let me show you why these things are so important. The stone that the builder rejected is the cornerstone. We always hear this saying as someone else's rejection. However, you reject parts of you all the time. Those are your cornerstones. And you can never build a reliable structure within your life without those stones, without those parts of you that you are constantly rejecting and you are constantly repressing. We hear that all the time. The stone that the builder rejected is the cornerstone. And we always see that statement as though, yeah, I'm the black sheep of my family, so I'm the cornerstone because I was the one that was rejected. I'm the one that's always rejected in every situation that I'm in, so I'm the cornerstone. What do we do here at Happy Healing? We don't externalize our coaching or our learning or our development. We internalize it. So let's look at that from the inside. How many times are you rejecting the critical parts of you that are a part of your cornerstone? Let me see how far this is in my notes, and then I'll jump into it if it's coming up. Okay, it's coming up, so I won't jump ahead. The stone that the builder rejected is the cornerstone. We always heard this as someone else's rejection. You reject parts of yourself all the time. Those are the cornerstones of your life, the cornerstones of your structure. You can never build a reliable structure without those stones or without those parts of you. They rejected those parts of you, and your response was you rejected those parts of you as well. And you want to know what the saddest truth is? The parts of you that you reject are your most authentic parts. That's why those are the cornerstones that you cannot build your life without. That's why as long as you refuse to do the work on that younger version of you that is locked away in a tower of your trauma, as long as you refuse to go rescue that younger version of you that is locked away in a tower of your trauma, no matter what you do today in your life, no matter how much abundance you have today in your life, you will not feel the fulfillment that you are searching for, because the fulfillment that you're seeking, the emptiness that you're trying to fill, is in the tower of your trauma. It doesn't matter how much stuff you put on your body today. It doesn't matter how much jewelry you have, how nice of, if you do not rescue that younger version of you from the tower of your trauma, it is the younger version of you that is plaguing or hindering this older version of you. You got to rescue younger you first in order for you to have the abundance in your life today. You got to do your work. It gets better. The saddest truth is we often repress or reject our most authentic self. Let me show you why. Your experiences, let me do this. How do we reject our most authentic self? The part of you that is accepted by society is normally the part of you that is learned. The part of you that is most common, that is accepted in society, is the part of you that is learned. That is not your most authentic self. Because your most authentic self is the part of you that is so unique to you that is not going to be easily accepted by those who are not experiencing that thing that is so unique to you. And you know why that is so important, that authentic self? Because that piece of source, that spirit that's inside this body, is inside this body to have a unique experience. That's why this idea of colonization and everybody trying to be conformed, to be the same, experience God the same, is not aligned with spiritual truth. You are supposed to be unique. You were designed unique. Physically, everything about you was designed so that you don't fit into a cookie cutter system. That is what the source wants inside your vessel, is the unique experience. So what makes you special is what makes you unique. But while living in a society that forces conformity, we all forego or repress the things about us that make us unique so that we fit into the group, not realizing it is the thing that makes you unique that is your cornerstone. The stone that the builder rejected. The part of you that they rejected is your cornerstone, but even worse, the part of you that you repressed and you rejected is your cornerstone. So while you're seeing yourself as the rejected cornerstone of your family, I'm showing you that the parts of you that you repress is the rejected cornerstone of your personal life. Your experiences, this is going to be tough. Stick with me. Your experiences don't make you unique. You're not special because of what you've been through. I can't even read past that. We'll let that sit for a second. Just give it a minute. Oh, we're going to put these back up on the website too. A couple of months ago, someone referenced this mug. It is a Happy Healing mug. That logo is actually our Ubuntu logo. I'll explain that another day. But yeah, Happy Healing. We're growing. Back to what we're talking about. I said, your experiences don't make you unique. Ubuntu. Yes. Somebody might know something already. I am because we are. That's Ubuntu. That's if you do a little bit of research, write it down, store it for later, do a little bit of research, you'll see how powerful it is. But let's get back to work. Your experiences don't make you unique. You're not special because of what you've been through. Think about it. You thinking you're special because of what you've been through is glorifying the trauma or the experience. Listen to me when I say, if you think you're special because of what you've been through, it is the trauma and the experience that you're glorifying in that moment. Realize it's the response that makes you special. It is the response that makes your experience special. I'm going to give you a very, very personal example of this. Don't y'all start doing the sad thing in the chat with this example. Trust me, I'm not sad about it. But the example is powerful enough, and I don't mind using it at the expense of what y'all may think it costs me to use it. It doesn't cost me anything. It's actually a part of my testimony and my life story. But it's a strong one, so I had to give you that disclaimer. Okay. Realize it is the response that makes your experience special. It is not the experience. And this example is going to sound hard and harsh and tough, but damn it, it is the truth, and we need to hear it. People's kids pass away every single day. Unfortunately, that does not make me special. Unfortunately, losing my kid to gun violence is not a unique situation in this country so that I should feel special because that happened to me. That's just a reality that I have to accept. But what makes me special and what makes losing my kid special is the fact that my response is the benefit of what we're all receiving right now. What makes me losing my kid kid, what makes it special is that from that, the way that I am responding is to build something that I can put his legacy on, and people can say, man, I never met that kid. I don't know who that kid is, but what has been built in his name and in his legacy is amazing. It is not what happens to you that makes you special. Get out of your little victim mode. Just because it happened to you doesn't make you special, and I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm trying to show you something. The same thing has happened to over 1 million people. You're not special because it happened to you. Again, I'm not being harsh, but I need you to understand what makes it special is your response. Because out of all the people that have lost their children to gun violence, I'm standing on what I'm standing on to make a difference. That's what makes it special. That's why you're going to put it like this. You know why you're going to know my son's name? His name is Cassius. You know why people are going to know his name? Not because he was another kid that got shot down in the streets of Washington, D.C. That's not why you're going to know his name. That's not why he's going to be special. That's not why he is special. In fact, let's go a little bit deeper for any parent that can experience this. Your kid isn't special because of how you lost your kid. Your kid is special because of the way that you respond to losing that kid. See, people will know that my kid was special to me because of the impact that his loss is having on my life. Not in that it's breaking me down, but damn, look at what he built in that boy's name. The point I'm trying to make to you is, get out of this place of thinking because something traumatic happened to you that you are special. Stop glorifying the trauma. What I want to celebrate with you is not that we've both been through something. That's nothing to celebrate because that doesn't make us special. What I want to celebrate is, how did you respond? How did you push through? What did you do? Because this thing has happened to thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of people, but only a few that it has happened to has come out on the other end blazing with change, blazing with glory, blazing with fire. It is not what happens to you that makes you special. Stop glorifying your trauma. As a life coach, I have to hear about your trauma because if I can't understand it, I don't know where to lead you and I don't know what tools and resources to give you. So as a life coach, that's all I do all day is listen to people tell me about their experiences. And guess what? Can I be honest with you? I'm the guy that used to go to the airport to watch people, not to fly anywhere. So I want you to understand how my dynamic is built up. Listening to people speak to me all day, honestly, think about that. I'm the guy that used to go to the airport to watch people. That's how fascinated I was with understanding and learning people because I had a fascination with human suffering. I went through so much suffering myself as an adolescent that when I found this idea of God as a youth pastor, it became absolutely necessary that I understand, why do we suffer so much? And it's through that understanding that I ended up where I am. Let's keep building. We got so much more to cover. I hate it when I lose my place in my notes. Because every time I put the phone down, like I'll accidentally scroll past where I am. Then when I pick the phone back up, I've got to open the phone. Then I got to scroll to wherever I was in my notes. Then there's this weird moment of silence where I'm thinking, all right, let me find this note. And then in the back of my mind, I'm thinking what y'all thinking. And then it just becomes this really weird thing. So rather than just letting it be weird, I'm just going to start talking through it. Oh, man. No, I think I know where we are. Uh-huh. There we are. I was like, wait a minute, did I delete my notes? That would be crazy. All right. Your experiences don't make you unique. You're not special because of what you've been through. Think about it. You thinking you're special because of what you've been through is glorifying the trauma or the experience. Realizing it's the response that makes your experience special. How you respond. What is the motto of happy healing? The outcome of your life is not determined by the size of the adversity that you face, but the outcome of your life is determined by your response. Company model, brand model. I stand on that. My life is a reflection of that. My entire life. 6 months from now, a year from now, we will all be looking back and saying, I can't believe how fast this got here. My entire life is a testimony of, if you look at the adversity that I've been through, you wouldn't expect me to be sitting here today. You wouldn't expect me to be doing what I'm doing today. But it has been my response to those experiences that has made the difference. The experiences didn't make me unique because I wasn't the only person having those experiences. The experiences didn't make me special because that wasn't just happening to me. Let's keep going. What makes up authenticity? Real, genuine, one of a kind. Often, the part of you that is like everyone else is learned. I covered this a little bit ago. The parts of you that are different are things you didn't just pick up, but they come from a deeper place. So oftentimes, because we live in a society, actually, that might actually be in the notes. In a world where conformity is rewarded, conform to be accepted, your differences often get repressed. And it is your differences that fulfills you. Ooh, damn, that was good. All right, let me get it out for you all. In a world where conformity is rewarded, your differences often get repressed. So in a world where everybody fitting this mold or fitting this standard, in a world where that is what we celebrate, what makes you different, we repress that. And I mean on all levels. On all levels, we have a beauty standard. And most of us that do not meet that beauty standard, we hide the things about ourselves that show us further away from that beauty standard, and we highlight the things about ourselves that bring us closer to that beauty standard. I'm going to give you all a minute to accept that truth. Because we live in a world that says these are the standards. Those that don't meet these standards don't fit in. They don't get accepted. They get outcasted. Because we live in that world, the things that make you unique, the things that make you different, the things that actually make you special are the things that you are going to repress, because those unique things, those one-of-a-kind things, those things that make you quirky, those physical attributes that are different and specific to just you, those things that you look at yourself and go, no one else has that mark, no one else has a nose like this, no one else has a mouth like this, no one else has these teeth. Because of all these things, I gotta repress this part of myself. I have to hide this part of myself because it will not allow me to fit into a society that has conditioned me to think that I must fit in to be special. Because I want to be a part of the special kids. I want to be a part of the cool kids. I want to be in the in club. We have gotten to a point where society says being like everybody else is the special part. Being unique is weird. Am I lying? Having what everyone else has is what makes you special. Wearing what everyone else is wearing is what makes you special. Possessing the possessions that everyone else possesses is what makes you special. Being able to do the things and go the places that everyone, it's all about conformity. But in a society like that, what they're really doing is killing your cornerstone. Remember what I told you. The part of you that you repress, that unique part, the part that makes you different, that's the part that source God, that piece of spirit, is going to use to express itself. If I was just like you, source wouldn't have any unique experiences to flow through. It is the parts of you that society says is not acceptable. That's what makes you special. Think about it. If there is a standard, everything about you that doesn't meet the standard makes you unique. But society says you have to meet the standard. So what do? Everything about you that is not on the list of those standards, you minimize in your life. Everything about you that doesn't meet this societal standard of how to be a robot, I forgot to mention that about the standard. Maybe that's important. I forgot to mention that the standard that you are foregoing parts of your authenticity for is simply to become a robot. The standard of society is not to create unique, vibrant individuals. That's not what the standard of society is. The standard of society is, how do we get everybody to function the same? That is exactly what robots are. That's called an assembly line. I need everybody to worship the same, pray the same, believe the same, do the same, because it's easier when we can control all of you with the same standard. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Hey, parents. Reality check. I know it's hard as hell raising these kids. You can't raise these babies with the same standard. They're not the same. Each child has a path that is specific for them. And you have to be ambiguous enough to know when you need to adjust on the fly per child. Hey, friend, you may not be a parent, or that last bar may not have been for you, but I want to ask you a question. When was the last time the first thing you told somebody about yourself was the unique thing about you? Notice how when we introduce ourselves, our highlight rails are based on the standard. Notice the standard is meant to rob you of the very thing that makes you special. We have been so conditioned to apply ourselves to the standard, to forgo the things that make us unique, to forgo the things that make us special, to forgo our gifts, to forgo anything that does not meet the standard. We have been so conditioned in this way that when we introduce ourselves to people, we try to convince people that, look, I meet the standard. You should like me. Look how close I am to the standard. You should like me. Before we move on to this next section, for those of you that are just joining us, thank you for being a part of this conversation. Actually, I want to take a quick minute to see, Kira, if at any point, or any of the moderators that are here, if at any point there's a profound question, go ahead and pin it for me. And then we used to do this in the past during our lives. For those of you that have subscriptions, you know the little subscription stars? It says, like, it has a girl dad logo in it. So any of the moderators, if you pin a comment or if you need my attention and you use those stars, I know, like, hey, coach, one of the moderators needs you, or there's a question that you need to address. All right. I want to implement that into our daily teachings, that I know some of you, I love this setup because some of your questions take me to places where I learn things. Some of your questions take me to places where I receive revelations right here as we're speaking. So I want to incorporate your questions into these conversations. So let's do that for the moderators. And then for those of you that are just joining us, if you're just getting here, if you're wondering, what is this? What's going on? Who is this guy? What are we talking about? My name is Kohn. I am a health and life coach. I've been doing this work for over 20 years in different capacities and in different shapes. My life coaching business and practice is based on the idea that the outcome of your life is not determined by the size of the adversity that you face, but it is determined by your response. My coaching method and modality is based on the principles that whatever it is in your life that is plaguing you or that is hindering you from achieving the things that you want, we must find the root of it. You cannot put lipstick on the pig and expect it to win the beauty contest. You have to find the root of it. Now, some people would argue you could put the right pieces of bacon on a plate and win a beauty contest, but that's not a conversation that I'm here to have or argue about. Let's keep moving. But again, if you're just joining us, my name is Kohn. These conversations we have every weekday at 9 a.m. And these conversations are based on essentially me giving you some light, love, and wisdom, as well as giving people information on how they can connect with us and have access to our coaching practice, our resources, as well as just pouring some information on this community of people that join us every day. If you're interested in any of our coaching services, you can find all of the links for our coaching services in the link tree in my bio, or you can simply send us an email to kohn@happyhealing.com. Again, that's KOHN at happyhealing.com. Someone's going to put that in the chat for us so that you can have it. Write it down, go to your notes, pin it, but definitely get connected with us. As I say this, many people don't perceive it, but it's okay because I like having it on record. There's going to come a time very soon where you're not going to have access to myself the way that you do now. Pertaining to my time, pertaining to coaching, pertaining to the amount of clients that I'm actually taking on, pertaining to the amount of clients that I'm actually coaching in our mentorship group. There is very soon coming a time where I am not going to be available in that way. What I will commit myself to, those of you that were here and have already made an investment into your healing journey, I will continue to service you as my clients. And that's why I stress to people now, get in the door while you can. There's going to be a time coming very soon where you can get coaching through Happy Healing, but you may not be able to sit down with Coach Kohn. I will continue to do this as much as I can, but there is coming a time where because of other opportunities and other things that are in the works and that are already happening, my availability won't be what it is. So for those of you that have the opportunity that are hearing this message at a time where you can tap in to this resource, do so now. Because in a minute, all right, those that understand, understand. All right, let's keep going. So we're going to transition to something else here. Same line of thought and same line of teaching. Your conscious awareness of self, your mind's awareness of itself, your ego goes out into the world and dances to the tones that your subconscious mind is playing. I promise you all, when we put this book writing system on an automated routine, we're going to crush it. I only say that to say, oftentimes, like when I read my notes, people are like, bro, who wrote that? Where are you reading from? What is that? And I'm like, no, these is just my chicken scratch notes. But the way that I write is, oh, there it is. I write poetry too. So a lot of this is kind of the structure of poetry, the way that words come together. Okay, that's enough. You guys don't care about that. Your conscious awareness of self, or your mind's awareness of itself, the ego, goes out into the world and dances to the tone that your subconscious mind plays. What does that mean? Grace of the Creator, thank you. Thank you. Kara, thank you. I know you all care. I'm just playing. What does that mean, though? Your ego, your mind's consciousness, goes out into the world and dances to the tone that your subconscious mind is playing. Let me show you what that means. And we talked about this extensively, I think, Monday. So, your subconscious mind, holding all of your repressed selves, holding all of your trauma, holding your true identity of what you really believe you are beyond your ego's made up thing, your subconscious mind shapes your lens and your filter and your senses. Your subconscious mind shapes the way you see the world, the way you hear things, the way you taste things, the way you touch things. Why? You are experiencing life through your mind's consciousness, meaning your belief system is governing what you see, what you smell, what you touch, and what you feel. Your belief system is interpreting what your senses are bringing in. Does that make sense to you all? Your belief system is interpreting the information that your five senses are bringing into your system. Okay, so if your belief system is controlling what your five senses are interpreting, and your ego is acting upon that interpretation, then your ego is simply dancing to the tones that your subconscious mind is playing. If your subconscious mind is doing the interpretation of what you see, what you hear, what you feel, what you touch, what you taste, if your subconscious mind is interpreting all those things, and all right, let me do this so you can understand why it's your subconscious mind providing the instructions to the body based on all of this interpretation. Let me give you an analogy to understand it. We talk about the Tesla analogy. And it's another one that we use to break down the subconscious mind, the conscious mind, how all these things integrate. So most people think it's the cameras and the sensors that are driving the Tesla. People think with all these cameras and all these sensors, they're telling the car what to do. They're not. That's not how it works. That's not how you work. Let me show you how the Tesla works. Every Tesla is equipped with a hard drive, a mainframe that comes from the manufacturer. That hard drive has been pre-programmed based on the destination that car is going to be sold in. In essence, if you sell a Tesla in Europe or if you sell a Tesla in the United States, the hard drive that came from the manufacturer has been pre-programmed with information. Hold that thought. The hard drive having been pre-programmed with information, now when the sensors sense things, or when they bring in information, the sensors send that information to the hard drive. Based on how the hard drive has been pre-programmed, the hard drive then interprets the information based on its pre-programming, and then it gives instructions to the car as what to do. Watch this. In your mind, your five senses bring in information to your subconscious mind, your hard drive. And guess what is strange? Your hard drive has been pre-populated with information as well. The difference is your hard drive has been pre-populated with information from your experiences, from the things you learned in your upbringing, from the things that you've been through, from the way that you've been shaped and molded. Your hard drive has been getting shaped and molded even while you was in the womb. Your mother was sending you information to your hard drive while you was just an infant in her womb. From the moment that you came out your mother's womb, you've been storing information on your hard drive, building up the control system that's going to govern your life. So now your five senses bring in information, and based on what has been pre-populated on your hard drive, based on your experiences, your hard drive then gives instructions to your body as what to do. Your ego is dancing to the tones that your subconscious mind is playing. Guess who the band members are, though? Guess who the band members are playing these tones in your subconscious mind? Guess who the band members are? It's going to blow your mind. Y'all ready? All the parts of you that you've repressed, your past experiences unresolved, your shame, your guilt, your resentment, the parts of you that you think is ugly, the parts of you that you think is dumb, the parts of you that you don't like, the parts of you that the world has convinced you is not worthy enough to be presented to the world, the parts of you that has been hurt enough to now you feel like you have to hide away. All of those things are your band members playing the soundtrack of your life. Some of you wonder, why does it seem like my life's soundtrack or the experience of my life is so... Who are the members of your band? What are the experiences that are living in your hard drive, that are living in your subconscious mind that has not been resolved? See, because you can go on all the vacations that you want to, but your trauma is still there. You can buy all the things for yourself that you want to, but that trauma is still there. And here's the thing, because you live in your ego's consciousness, you don't see it. That's why most people are stuck where they are. They don't see it. And you ready? This is how it gets compounded. Not only do you not see it, but remember how you developed your hard drive, right? Because your manufacturer only gave you a little bit of information. You developed your hard drive based on all of your experiences. And now you live in your ego's consciousness. Your hard drive is filled with all of the things that I just listed, but you're living in your ego's consciousness. And you never took a moment to say, let me re-examine my life for what it is and why I do the things that I do, why I think the way that I do. You have convinced yourself that even though your life has been producing for you something that you don't desire, like, or want to continue, but because you either A, don't have the information, or B, you aren't willing to do the work, you just keep plowing forward. Who's playing the music that you are dancing to? Who are the band members? Your repressed self, your past experiences unresolved, your shame, your guilt, your resentment, your hurt, your pain. That's who's playing the band in your subconscious mind. Your ego is constantly changing because the soundtrack is constantly changing. Hey, so here's the thing. When we don't resolve our traumas, when we don't actually get knowledgeable help, someone that can guide us there, we end up getting led by our trauma. We end up being the products of that trauma, unbeknownst to you. Because where are you? Where are you existing? Right here? Many of us don't exist in the world of, I am the peace of God inside this vessel. I am the spirit being inside this vessel. I am the conscious observer. I can tell you one of the most powerful things that I've seen affect people's lives. I mean, instantly. And those of you that are here, speak up if it's you. Learning the concept of the conscious observer and watching how clients are applying that to their lives, you will not find, well, maybe you will. This is one of the most powerful things that we teach here at Happy Healing. This idea of the conscious observer, being able to step outside of the emotion that is rising up inside of you, being able to step outside of the conflict that you may be having with another person, being able to step outside of the situation that may be plaguing your mind, being able to step outside of the thoughts that may be plaguing your mind. But I don't mean just step outside, but step into your higher self. Step into that consciousness that you are that piece of source inside this vessel. And then from that place, perceiving yourself, the impact that this has allowed people to have on their own lives is amazing to me. And it really is the testimony to our coaching method, which is, I'm not doing anything for you. This goes back to what I opened our conversation with. As we missed our goals last month, different ideas come to mind. Well, coach, maybe you do it like this. Maybe you, and then I realized, no. We're not going to conform. You, the mind, the ego, just goes out and dances to the tune that is being played in the subconscious mind. You adjust your movements to keep up with the rhythm, and keeping up is all you mostly do because you've never met the band. You don't know who's playing the music of your life. You don't know the producer that's producing the soundtrack of your life. All you know is you're just dancing to the tunes. If you've never met the band, how can you ever coordinate the right soundtrack for your life? If you want to understand a deeper perspective of this, this is where the concept, that which I don't want to do is what I end up doing. And that which I want to do, I don't do. That conundrum that Paul was explaining is simply this. My ego's consciousness, my mind's awareness of itself wants to do good. But everything within me seems to not be aligned with that good that I desire to do. When you don't know the band, when you don't know who's playing the instruments, when you don't know what is plaguing your subconscious mind, when you don't know what parts of me have I shoved onto my subconscious mind, and how are those things impacting my life today? When you don't know that, all you can do is go out and dance. All you can do is go out and beat your feet. Because what else are you going to do? You don't know the band. You can't. Can y'all change the song for me real quick? The mind, the ego, the awareness goes, I want to dance bachata today. The subconscious mind is not an actor. It's a reactor. So it reacts. Bachata may be what you want to dance today, but the band is playing dark emo. How many of you have had ideas of what you want to do in your life, but it seems like the rest of the group just will not align? How many? Let's stay with this analogy. How many of you? Let's say you want to lose weight, and let's symbolize weight loss with jazz. How many of you want to have jazz in your life? Because that's what you desire. In your ego's awareness, in your mind's awareness of itself, you love jazz. And I'll be damned if that band does not keep playing hard rock all day long. Why? You want something, but you got to get with the... Let's keep flowing with this analogy. You're the lead singer. You're the lead singer in this group, and you've never met the band. You're going to have a terrible performance every time you get on stage, friend. You're the lead singer in a group, but you've never met the band. And yet every day you wake up and you go out on the stage of life expecting that the band is going to play the music that supports the experience that you want to have. No, friend. You must meet the band. You must know what's in my subconscious mind. How has my upbringing, how has my trauma, how has my experiences, how has my pain, how has my hurt, how has the hurt from failed relationships traumatized me in a way? How has the hurt from consistently being lied to traumatized me in a way? How has the hurt from not having the family structure and the foundation that I want, how has these things and how are these things impacting my life? I love analogies too. Like I love it's I don't know, it's a thing. Thank you. You simply are adjusting your movements to keep up with the rhythm. For some people, the subconscious mind is so filled with these repressed parts of you that the desires of the ego, your desires, never make it out of the thought process to any action. For some people, the subconscious mind is so filled with these repressed parts of you, with these hidden parts of you, with these rejected parts of you, that the desires of your ego, your desires, your conscious awareness desires, never even make it out of thought. The repressed parts will attack any thoughts that do not align with the tone that the band is playing. How does that look in your life? How does that look in your life? Let's go back. Jazz, weight loss. I want to listen to jazz today. Why are they playing hard rock? I want to lose weight. And here's how they kill it right in the thought process. You ain't gonna lose that weight. You got so many repressed, hidden parts of you in your subconscious mind that they are speaking what they believe of themselves. Y'all catch that. I want you to understand, and this is going to connect to dot why it's that child version of you that is your inner critic. Most of you think your inner critic is some voice or the devil or somebody outside of you that is causing this consistent controversy in your mind. No, your inner critic is a younger version of you that believes this about you. You may say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to go dancing today. You don't know how to dance. Why would you do that? That's stupid. You know what? I think I'm going to go after that next level of my job. You know you're not good enough. Why would you do that? Don't embarrass yourself. You're just going to go up there and embarrass yourself. You're just going to make yourself look stupid. Don't even put yourself in that position. Who's that? Who is that? Some people tell me, that's my mother's voice. And then I explain to them, I know it's your mother's voice, but it's your mother's voice talking to that younger version of you. So that younger version of you is repeating to this older version of you everything that your mother said to that younger version of you. But what you're hearing is that younger version of you that you repressed into your subconscious mind when you could not handle or process the experience. So you said, hey, I'm going to put it back here in the tower of my trauma and await for you to come and rescue me. And rather than you rescuing that younger version of you from the tower of your trauma, you on the beach in Jamaica drinking margaritas. Oh, Lord. Yo. Younger you is sitting in the tower of your trauma, waiting for you to come with the whole rescue squad of health and healing and love and compassion. You on the beach in Jamaica drinking Mai Tais because you think that's going to help cure the trauma that you done experienced all your life. And younger version of you is sitting up in the tower of your trauma just looking down at you on the beach in Jamaica like, ain't this something? Knowing as soon as you get on that plane to head back home, little younger version of you in that tower of your trauma is going to remind you of all the things that you're coming back home to. Seek healing. There's nothing wrong with having fun in your life. There's nothing wrong with going out and doing amazing things, creating great memories. But all I want you all to understand is the temporary things that we do to appease and help ourselves are only temporary. You're only prolonging the process. Do the work. Make that investment in yourself so you can learn some tools and resources to get that younger version of you out of the tower of your trauma. Because that was the whole point of your mind storing that trauma on your hard drive in your subconscious mind. The whole point is you will come back and take care of me later. Oh, I don't even want to get into that part. The whole point is you will come back and take care of me later. That's too deep to, I won't unpack that. That's too much. All right. The repressed parts will attack any thought that does not align with the tone that the band is playing. The repressed part, your repressed parts will reject any idea that you have of yourself that is contrary to that repressed part of you. Are you listening to me? Do you understand why it is necessary that you do this work and find someone with the wisdom and understanding to help you do it? Your repressed parts will reject anything that you aspire to be that does not align with that part of you that is repressed. You want to know what imposter syndrome is for some people? It's not just the fact that I don't think I belong here. Imposter syndrome for some people is your inner critic, that younger version of you, doesn't think you belong there. Listen, let me explain that to you because it's really simple. The adult you did the work. The adult you has the skill sets, the education. The adult you did everything to be where you are. Why do you don't feel like you belong there? What is it about you that gives you the sense that you don't belong where you are if you did all the work to get there? It's a younger version of you that is looking at you like that person doesn't align with who I believe I am. So what that younger version of you is going to try to do is to bring that person back to the reality of their identity. We call that self-sabotage. Y'all not ready to learn, coach, whatever you want to do, come get with me. We can get to it. That's what self-sabotaging is that younger version of you seeing a version of you today and going, who authorized you? Where did you come from? You are not in the band. You're not the lead singer that we signed up for. We are a band of depression. Who is this happy, well-to-do person that get rid of them? Self-sabotage this. We don't know them. The band will self-sabotage any lead singer that does not align with the band. Are y'all following these analogies? Are y'all following this? Because I'm having a great time with this, but I want to make sure that you all are following this. The band will get rid of any person that does not align with the nature of the band. Someone put the email up there for me, please. Someone just asked for it. And to that effect, if you're just joining us and just joining this conversation, my name is Kohn. I am a health and life coach. What I do on Mondays or weekdays at 9 a.m. is we start these amazing conversations to get your day started off right. My goal is to spread light, love, and wisdom in the world, as well as make this community aware of the options and the resources that we have available through our coaching practice. So all of the link tree for all of my coaching services you can find in the link tree in my bio. And you can simply send us an email to kohn@happyhealing.com. If you're interested in coaching, put coaching if it's the mentorship group, or if you're interested in our 90-day Trauma to Triumph one-on-one coaching program, put that in the subject, and then simply tell me a little bit about yourself and the body, and we will get you the proper information. All right, let's keep teaching. So again, the band in your subconscious mind will sabotage any version or reality that your ego is trying to create that does not align with the band. That's where we get self-sabotage from in our lives. It's not that you don't feel like you can do it, because you're doing it. You're doing the thing that you're experiencing. But there's a part of you that does not align with the thing. That's the band. And if you never address the band, trust me, the self-sabotage will happen. You know why? It just takes one trigger. Because all of those repressed versions of you and all of those repressed parts of you that are in your subconscious mind, you know how they come alive? When the emotion, the energy, or the memory that is attached to them is triggered. I'll go a step further. I don't want to get too far into this part because I got a little more that I want to teach on where we are. But I'll show you a step further. That triggering, actually, let me not do that. We'll segue too far. While we do have a break, please do like the live and share the live with anyone that you feel can benefit from this information. I am teaching myself the discipline of telling you all that, because there are people that can benefit, and if I'm reminding you all, and if only you're tapping the screen, or if you share it with one other person that may benefit from this information, then we've added one additional distributor of love to our community, and that is always worth it, because one distributor of love can change the life of hundreds of thousands of people, if not millions. Do y'all understand that? When we start walking in the fullness of what we are, if one dictator, if one person that does not even, one person that is not operating in the most powerful force in our ecosystem can cause as much as some of these rulers and leaders around the world has caused, how much more do you think you as an individual, how much more impact can you have in this world when you are operating in the fullness of what you are? All right, let's get to it. Your subconscious is so your subconscious is so vicious. Your current state of depression, anxiety, your current state of depression and or anxiety can have nothing to do with how you are currently positioned in your life. all can be well in your life by all societal standards, and depending on the state of your subconscious mind, you can be convinced that the most affluent life is not worth living. Let me read that again. Your subconscious is so vicious that your current state of depression, anxiety, or any other thing that you're experiencing can have nothing to do with your current position in life. All things can be well with your life by all societal standards, and depending on the state of your subconscious mind, you can be convinced that the most affluent life is not even worth living. If that is not enough proof for us that it really starts in your subconscious mind, your current state, you can have it all, essentially, is what I'm saying. And we see this. A person can have everything that the rest of us think, oh, if I just had that, I'll be happy, which is strange that we don't do that math. We'll see people that have everything and are the most miserable people because they lack the simplest things that we have. Ooh. We will see people that have everything that we don't, but they are more miserable than we are because they lack the simple things that we have. Yet we will be willing to trade those simple things for what they have, even after we see them being destroyed. Your subconscious mind is playing the music. And if you are not willing to make the investment to understand who your band members are, and if you're not willing to make the investment to understand which one of these band members we need to fire and how do we find better band mates, coach, if you're not willing to make that investment, you are going to keep dancing to the sounds of your subconscious mind. And even if it destroys, unravels, or hinders your progress in life, you'll just keep dancing. Because if you don't know the band, you don't control the music. Let's keep building. Whew. Do you understand how low one can go when you realize you have a million different dance moves, but the only song that plays in your life is the one song that none of your dance moves go to? Do you understand how depressing, how defeating, how overwhelming, how hopeless one can feel when you realize I've got everything I've ever desired in my life, but none of it is quieting the storm that is constantly brewing in my mind, in my emotions? People that have very little think that's depression. People that have very little think that's suffering. You have not experienced suffering until you have everything and yet have nothing internally. That's why they unalive. Being broke ain't the worst. Being broke is not the worst thing you can experience. And I know that many of you may not get this because you just haven't had it. Being broke is not the worst thing you can experience. And I've been broke. The worst thing that you can experience is to have it all and have nothing. Imagine spending years of your life pursuing learning these dance moves. And every time you learn a new move, you realize it does not fit the soundtrack of your life. By the time you've made it to 1 million days, the 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 reason this work is so important, because if you don't value your inner work, your light work, your shadow work, if you don't value your inner well-being, you will place all of your value on the exterior, because your interior is so chaotic and you have no idea how to calm the chaos that you focus overwhelmingly on your exterior because you feel a sense of, I have some form of control over this. But there is nothing more frustrating and defeating than finding and hitting every goal that you have in your life and then realizing it did nothing for you internally. Let's keep building. So the ego, your mind's awareness, decides its dance moves, and it goes out onto the stage of life, and it meets with other dancers, and its interactions with these other dancers causes the subconscious mind to react. And now you went from doing the bachata to doing the two-man tussle because your band started playing a different tone. So what I'm explaining to you all there is, I got to figure out who, anyway, what I'm explaining to you all there is, oftentimes in life, we'll set our goals for the day. I'm going to go out and have an amazing day today. I'm going to have a great day today. I got some amazing things that I've got set for my day today. It's going to be a beautiful day. And then, so that beautiful day is, I'm going to go out and dance some bachata today. Go get my hip movement on. And then you go out into the world and you end up interacting with other people. And your subconscious mind is a reactor. It's not an actor. It does everything in the background. It's a reactor. But you do this interaction with somebody else. And now because of this interaction, and this interaction has triggered one of the band members, we started out the day with a real vibey tone. You know what I'm saying? The vibe was good. You were great. You was like, oh, I like this. This is nice. I like this. I'm going to have an amazing day today. Oh, yeah, today is going to be a great day. You're just vibing. You're having a great time. And then you have an interaction with somebody. And that interaction triggers one of your band members. And what was a nice, soft tune is now turning into this dun 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 dun. You feel the emotions welling up in you. Dun 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 dun. You feel this conflict, this sense of whatever this person just did to you, you've got to respond, because one of your band members, let's say it's your drummer. Your drummer just got triggered. And let's say your drummer is your sense of being invalidated when you was a child. So now your interaction with this person has triggered you feeling invalidated because of something that they've said, and they've done. So now, because that part of you, that repressed part of you, that part of you that you haven't done any work on, you haven't sought any help about, that part of you is playing the drums of your soundtrack. So now, because that part of you is triggered, now you just went from, this is going to be a great day. I'm going to have a beautiful day today. The rhythm of my day is beautiful. The band is playing a sound that I like. Now one of your band members have been triggered, and now what's happening? That soundtrack has gone from beauty and softness to dun 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 dun. And what are you feeling? You're feeling that. The soundtrack is the emotion that the band is pushing up into your body. You're feeling that now. You feel that sense of dun dun dun. Why? You never got acquainted with your band? You didn't know your band, you didn't know your drummer had a thing? Ah, you're not listening to me. You're not getting to know your band. Because if you got to know your band, you would know that your drummer has a thing with being invalidated. And every time you encounter a situation or a person that gives you that sense or that feeling, because you've done your work with Coach Kohn and you understand how to be the conscious observer, whenever that feeling starts to well up within you, you elevate to your higher self, to this conscious point of observation, and you watch that within yourself, and you first counsel yourself. I see this emotion and I see the way that John just spoke to us. And it was the way that John spoke to us that triggered our little drummer, who is the person that was always made to feel invalidated in our upbringing. I see that. And I see our little drummer has been triggered. But you know what? It's okay. We don't need to respond to John and match his energy. Because I've done the work and I've been working on myself, when I feel my little drummer increasing the tempo, dun 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 dun, because I'm able to operate as the conscious observer as Coach Kohn has taught me, I can get that little drummer to slow down the pace of the drums a little bit. Hey, it's cool. That person don't know us. That person has no clue how valuable we are. And even though their statement may have come off as if they're trying to belittle us, the truth of the matter is, can't nobody belittle us. That person's statement cannot define who we are. And now that little drummer is like, you know what? Dum, 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 dum. We're back to having an amazing day again. Why? Because we understand our band. Because we've taken time to do the work so that when we operate in these circumstances and situations, we can move to our higher self as the conscious observer. And we can recognize when one of our band members is being triggered, because we've done this work. We've spent the time. We made the investment. We took the opportunities that were available to us for us to learn the tools and the resources, for us to get the coaching that we needed. So when we're faced with real life circumstances and situations, when we see that little version of us increasing the tempo of the drums, because now we're about to turn up on somebody, because we've done this work, we can go, I knew that that person was going to trigger us, and it's cool. It's okay. I'm going to counsel us in this minute. As the higher self, as the conscious observer, you can speak peace into your body. As your higher self, as your conscious observer, you can speak calm into your body. But you have to know what you're speaking to. You have to be in a process of there it is right there. You have to be in a process of integrating those parts of you so that you are all operating on one accord. The idea of holy is not H-O-L-Y. Holy, H-O-W-L-L-Y, I believe is 2 L's. The idea of holy is that the spirit that I am, that is one with God, and my mind's consciousness and my body are all on one accord. Holy. We'll stop there for today. I hope that this information has been beneficial to you all. I hope that you found it easy to follow along. I hope that you found it, hope you were able to grasp the point that I wanted to deliver today, which was showing you the hidden hand of trauma. My goal is to give you the information that is placed on my heart to give you in the way that I believe is going to be most beneficial to you all. And I believe we've had a powerful conversation today. So I thank each and every one of you for being here, for being a part of this conversation. Do not miss the overall message. Know your band, and you can control the soundtrack of your life. The soundtrack matters. The soundtrack matters. The reason why TikTok has sounds behind these videos, because the soundtrack to a moment matters. Know your band. Essentially, find someone somewhere that can help you to understand what have you repressed, what parts of you have been pushed into the shadows of your subconscious mind. Understand how those parts of you are having an impact on your behavior patterns and your thought patterns. Nurture those parts of you. Create a space of empathy, compassion, and love for those parts of you. Reframe some of those experiences. Look at those experiences from the perspective of the conscious observer and not just the child you that is locked in that tower of your trauma. Because the only way that you rescue little you from that tower is by learning the roadmap. You got to know how to navigate the kingdom or the castle to get there. And that's what we offer. We offer you a path to understand what are the connections between these behavior patterns and thought patterns that are not serving my life and these experiences that I've had. How are they connected? What part of me has been repressed and hidden and pushed into the dark sides of my shadow? I'll give you all this about shadow work and light work, and then I'll get out of here. One of the best ways that I can explain to you what we do from the perspective of my coaching modalities and the practices that I use, I want you to think of trauma in your injury as this. Imagine an athlete, and I use this all the time, so all of our regulars love or hate it at this point. But imagine an athlete that in the course of their athletic career, they have this injury, and at the time of the injury, they do not realize how severe the injury is. So they keep on playing the sport. And then later on in life, after retiring from the sport, they start to experience the residual impacts of that initial injury. And so they go seek a medical professional, and the medical professional says to them, did you ever break this limb? And they go, no, but I did injure it like a few years ago when I was playing professionally, blah, blah, blah. And the medical professional says, yeah, I can see that. You broke it. And the person goes, man, I didn't even know that. I didn't even get it healed or casted or anything. And the medical professional goes, yeah, I know. We can fix the residual impacts that you're experiencing now, though. But guess what? We have to break the limb again so that it can heal properly. We can rescue little you from the tower of your trauma, but we got to go back to that trauma so that it can heal properly. That's the foundation of what we do. That's the foundation of our practice. That's the foundation of the methods that we use, is that in the moment that trauma became so impactful that it created an emotional experience, and that emotion generated energy. And what did I tell you your trauma stores with it? The experience, the visualization of the experience, the emotions that were generated from the experience, the energy that was generated from the emotion, and the you at the age that you were when you had the experience. In order to get to the root of those things, you got to get there. In order to get little you out of that tower of your trauma, we got to go back. And that's why this work is important. That's what we help our clients to do. That's how I help and teach people to gain the steering wheels of their life back. Because for too long, you have simply been dancing to rhythms and tunes that weren't your requests. And we can teach you how to get your life back, to start playing the soundtrack to your life that you actually want to accompany your life. If you're interested in joining us on this journey, if you're interested in allowing me to be a part of your journey, all of my coaching services, the links for my coaching services are available in the link tree in my bio, or you can simply send me an email to Kohn, that's Kohn, at happyhealing.com. Again, that's Kohn at happyhealing.com. And someone's going to throw it in the chat here in just a minute. Send us an email. Let me know in the subject, I'm interested in coaching, whether it's one-on-one coaching. You can get one-on-one coaching at any time that you want. My schedule is available through a link in the link tree in my bio. We do have hourly sessions available. I book for longer than that if you're interested. We have our Happy Healer mentorship group. Essentially, the mentorship group is an opportunity like this, but you're in an intimate setting in a Zoom meeting with only 4 other participants, where the things that you want to learn and your thoughts are included in the curriculum for the month. We also offer our premium signature program, From Trauma to Triumph. This is a program that I have developed using the methods and the modalities that I've been speaking about and that I've been sharing with you here. And is one of the most powerful things that I have seen people on this journey do, is actually start to understand their band. Because the thing is, here's the thing about healing trauma. It's about integration. The integration is, very good closing point. The integration is this. Remember what's stored along with the trauma: the emotion, the energy that was generated by that emotion, the visualization of the actual trauma or the experience, and then you. So there's a version of you that is stored with that trauma. And in order to undo that, actually, I'll leave that open-ended point right there. Ethel Aesthetic says, my head is already sore from thinking of the trauma. Don't think of it. Think of, So one of the things that I teach my clients is a visualization activity that we do, and it's called the ideal you. Many people don't understand that you can manifest the version of you that you want. Y'all just think, the only thing y'all want to manifest is money. That's what I've come to understand. Like, people just want to manifest money. Here's what I tell people about manifestation. I'll never teach you how to manifest money. I'd rather teach you how to manifest a person that possesses the type of money that you desire. I'll never teach you how to manifest money. I'd rather teach you how to manifest becoming the person that possesses the money that you desire. Because if I taught you how to manifest money and you are not the type of person that possesses that type of money, I might cost you your life. Never thought about that, huh? I might cost you your life. I'd rather teach you how to manifest becoming the person that possesses the type of money that you desire. So essentially, Many people don't recognize that you can manifest a version of yourself. So in our visualization exercises of the ideal you, this is much later in, especially for the 90-day coaching program, this is more so month 3, where we start focusing on the ideal you. So month 1 is really about learning and understanding your trauma. The second, by the last 2 weeks of the first month, we're now starting to work on a lot of those things. We're unpacking a lot of those things. By month 2, we're giving you tools and resources, and all of your homework activities, and all of these things are really about working through this trauma, unpacking it, seeing the root of it, unplugging it, disconnecting it from here. But most importantly, a bunch of empathy, a bunch of love, a bunch of compassion for that younger version of you. When you heal your younger self, you heal you today. Not if you just pour a bunch of stuff on you today, you'll heal your younger self. That's not how it works. You heal your younger self, you'll heal you today. When you heal your younger self, you'll heal the voice of your inner critic. All right, let's get out of here. I'm super excited about this month. I'm excited because I know what we're going to do this month. I know that every goal that we missed last month, we're going to shatter this month. I'm excited about all the things that we have coming up. I'm excited about all the things that are developing on this end. As things develop, I will tell you all more, but there's so much to come and so much for us to be excited and grateful for. I appreciate each and every one of you that are joining us on YouTube. Thank you for being a part of this powerful conversation on the hidden hand of trauma. It has been a pleasure to have you all a part of this conversation. Please do like the page and subscribe, as well as turn on your notification bell so that you are notified whenever we upload new content. Again, I thank you for being a part of this conversation. I love you all. And